Hey, how's it going? Welcome. We're going to look at this photo album that I just found. So, remember how I was straightening up? I straightened up and I cleaned the whole place yesterday and pulled things out and moved things around and put things away. And this photo album was in a big basket with magazines and things. And so I haven't like gone through this, and so that's why I decided to just turn the camera on and make a video because I don't know what I'm going to find in here. It's just got a bunch of stuff in it. It could be completely random. This is a photo album that was put together by my mother years ago for me when I was in the military, I think. But it's been like cannibalized. Like pictures were taken out and moved around, so it's not even complete. I know that there's plenty of empty spots in this photo album, and I don't know what we're going to find in here. That's why I turned the camera on, because we don't know what we're going to find. So we just go like this right here. Is a letter from my sister from February 10th, 1980. Dear David, this is my Earth name. I don't want to read this whole thing, but look what she's saying. When I was 13, what I wanted more than anything was a baby. When Mom brought you home from the hospital, from the moment you entered our lives, I thought of you as mine. Yeah, so it's going to go on, and this is going to be from my sister. I love you then and now, Nan. My sister's name is Nancy. So that's kind of cool. I have this letter from Nancy from 1980 in here. Here's a football card. It's Steve Young. Here is an X-Men card. Who's that? Yeah. Here's another card. Jerry Rice. Here's a picture. Here's two pictures of my mother towards the end. This is her in her mid-90s. And I don't like these pictures or this picture because this is her when she wasn't her anymore, if you understand what I'm saying. She just wasn't herself in the head. So, oh, this is a what is this? Army helicopter transport pilot course. Oh, this is from a reunion. This is from a helicopter reunion from my dad, and this is like a synopsis of his military record, which now you guys are all looking at and reading. Because you could just pause the freaking video and read all this stuff. So that's kind of weird. I don't know if that was appropriate, but anyway, that's what that is. Let's not go through all that. Unless you want to pause the video, I suppose you could read some of it. This is the Star Trek crew, Star Trek The Next Generation. This is a photograph of my friend Dave in Lincoln Park from, God, when is this? 1996, 1995. This is the weekend of the Smashing Pumpkins show. So I just remember this because that's what's happening here. We drank champagne in Lincoln Park. We went and saw the Smashing Pumpkins at the Cow Palace. This is from my cousin Manuel's funeral. This is nice. I'm glad I have this. I've mentioned my cousin Manuel before. He had some interesting. So the reason why, look, isn't that cool what they did on for his funeral, for his for I don't know what you call this thing. Anyway, yeah, because he owned and managed a rec center, and he specialized in well, before the rec center, he had Quick Stop. I've mentioned Manuel before because I used to buy comic books from him sometimes because he actually owned the Quick Stop. When I say my cousin owned the Quick Stop, he really did own the Quick Stop. And after the Quick Stop, he got the rec center, and the rec center was a So it was just what it's what I said. It was a wreck. So there's a couple pool tables. There's a couple video games. Like he has Asteroids and he has Galaga or something. And he has a lunch counter where he'll cook burgers. He fries burgers. He makes grilled ham and cheese. He's got a small menu. He makes breakfast and stuff. He's got a counter where he sells sports cards. A lot of my sports cards came from Manuel. Like he gave me cards. He gave me Shaquille O'Neal rookie cards, any rookie cards, like all the rookies, like in the 90s and the 2000s. Manuel would, well, I guess he passed away in 1998, so not the 2000s. So anyway, he would give me rookie cards anytime they came through. He was a great guy. So this is what she did. She like numbered. Look at what she did. So this is what my mother did. She titled and like numbered and dated these pictures, but now there many of them are missing. So here's a small version of that photograph that we've seen before on this channel of my mother and her siblings and her parents. Here's a picture. You know what? Let's see how difficult it will be just to do this. Wow, that's much better, isn't it? 1957. This is my mother, my grandmother, and my two older sisters. My oldest sister, the one standing with the dark hair, that is my sister Nancy, who wrote that heartfelt letter to me in 1980 for my 13th or 14th birthday or whatever. I'm not sure what that was about. I didn't really want to finish it. I felt like she was going to start telling me that I was screwing up, to be honest. She's pretty critical of me. But I didn't want to continue that letter because I thought that she was going to tell me that, I don't know, stuff that made me feel bad. Isn't that weird? I'm just being honest. Here's a blown up portion of that other picture we've seen before of my grandmother and my mother. Here's a picture of my Aunt Emily on the far left. That's my favorite aunt, the one that I wanted to live with. That's my mother in the center, right there. And on the far right is my Aunt Helen, and she's awesome. She was really cool. Where is this picture taken? 1965. This is San Jose? Doesn't look like San Jose. 65. I don't know where this is. It must be San Jose. Anyway, that's a nice picture. They look really nice right there. Here's a picture of me. This is our pool in the backyard in Westlake Village, LA. We used to live down there near Thousand Oaks. And here's what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to, whoever took this picture is like capturing a moment, okay? All I'm doing here is repeating what has been done to me many, many times by my older siblings because I was the youngest. This is Sherry. Sherry is my age. She's the daughter of my godparents, my godfather and my godmother's daughter. I always liked her. We got along. We played well together. But what's happening here is I'm getting ready. I have a swim fin that's filled with water, and I'm coming up behind her, and I'm going to pour it over her head and surprise her, and probably make her cry because nobody's done that to her before. But I don't realize that because I'm 4. So I'm just doing what has already been done to me. Notice she has a little flotation vest on, and she kind of looks maybe a little worried. I'm thinking at this point maybe they don't have a pool in their backyard because I'm a wild man. I'm going off the diving board when I'm 2. I'm serious. I was going into the deep end alone when I was 2. Here's another good picture. This is Christmas. This is a Christmas morning. This is my cousin Phil. Looks like he just got this very nice racetrack. I don't know which track this is. If this is an Aurora, or I'm not sure what model um, electric racing track this is, but this is Christmas 1969. Yeah, look, I was right. Christmas 1969. This is San Jose. That's me trying to control the car, and I can remember this. I just didn't have the manual dexterity yet to do this. So what would happen is I would push. I wasn't able to push the right amount without making the car fly off the track. Right, it goes too fast and then it crashes around every corner. And you got to kind of finesse it. You got to know how this works. And Phil's about 13 or 12 right here, and I'm like 4 or 5, so I'm having a hard time. This was my favorite cousin at this age growing up. I really looked up to Phil. Yeah, he played football. He was into photography. They lived in San Diego, and they had a fallout shelter in their backyard. Okay, this is the 70s. Wow, that's really cool. I wish we could see underneath that pile of snow. 1974. Yeah. So this is me and the Scarlato brothers. What a great name. Isn't that a great name? So anyway, that's me on the right there. This is our deck at our house in Pollock Pines, which is this like unincorporated resort mountain village near Lake Tahoe where we had a house. So that place would get like 3 or 4 feet of snow sometimes in the winter. Maybe that's an exaggeration. It got deep snow sometimes. Anyway, we had this mountain house there with a big deck, and what's happening here is that underneath that is underneath that pile of snow is a GI Joe adventure team, like that 6-wheeled like Gamma Goat looking vehicle with the clear plastic shield on the front. That's two figures GI Joes sit inside of it. Anyway, what just happened is that I set it there, and that is like a big pile of wood behind us with a tarp over it, and I like dumped the snow off the tarp onto the top of the GI Joe vehicle, and we are marveling at that. And my mother came out and took a picture of us out on the deck, and we all look awesome in our 1970s glasses, don't we? This was my best friend. The guy there in the center was my best friend from like kindergarten until 3rd grade maybe. Then we moved away. This must be an exciting video for everybody. This is a nice photograph of my mother and my older sisters. So this is when my mother was my mother. This is probably when I was in high school. Oh no, it's not. This is 1986. So I'm already in the Army at this point. This is taken in Pebble Beach. This is my sister Nancy on the far left there, my mother in the center, and then my other sister Nora on the right. This is a good one. This is Christmas 77. I recognize this. So she has the wrong date on here. She did this a lot. So this is Christmas 77. I just know this. This is the year that I got the Star Wars early bird envelope with no figures in it. So it would have been Christmas 77. My 2 sisters and my brother on the right, and me looking awesome. That sweater vest was knitted by my Aunt Mina. Look at my crazy hair. Can you believe that she let her kid look like hippies? There's some of her Hummel plates hanging in the background on the right. There's a Moreau. See that Moreau behind the Christmas tree that looks like a giant ladybug? It's not. It's something else entirely. It like represents famine or something. I don't know what the frick it is. Anyway, one of my sisters got it. Here's some pictures of Gib. So I was just talking about him just yesterday or the day before. This is my best friend Garth, my best friend all through school. We played every sport together. This guy's the starting quarterback, and I was the starting halfback. And we really cut up. We like really cut up big time in elementary school and high school. That's Gibba. And then here's another picture. So these pictures were taken when he came to visit my mom when I was in the Army, and he was like driving trucks, like up and down the Grapevine or something. Anyway, he came to visit my mom and stopped in, and she took these pictures, and I think maybe she sent these to me when I was in the Army, or she just saved them and showed it to me. This is him sitting in her chair. So her chair used to be off limits, and so that's why he's got that look on his face, like, look, I'm in Carmen's chair. Because that was my mother's name, was Carmen. Speaking of which, here's Carmen on the right. It's my cousin Edna. She's awesome, or she was awesome. My Uncle Clarence, he was awesome. My Aunt Millie, she was awesome. They're all really cool. And this was in the 70s in Pollock Pines, 1976. Random photograph of my cousin Sabina. She's like 50 now or something, 45, 40, I don't know. She's an attorney in Monterey. She's a full-grown woman with children of her own. Anyway, she was my little cousin. We used to call her the White Tornado. I mean, look at her. Yep. So we called her the White Tornado because she would destroy everything. This is my cat, Thomasina, on top of the refrigerator in Pacific Grove. She used to love to sit and sleep on the top of that refrigerator in PG. Here's some pictures. This was right around when my oldest sister Nancy got married. This is in Riverside, I think. That's me in the front left, looking really cool, like by far the coolest member of this entire family. And my brother looking like a weirdo. My sister Nancy, always looking tan. My mother, and then my other sister, Nora, never looking tan. Here's me and my siblings. See what I'm saying? At this point, I really thought I was a badass right here. Remember what I just said, and I showed you that picture of my best friend? We really were cutting up. We were like the egg gang. Like we were troublemaker kids. We were kind of bullies at school. Like I said, we played sports. We were very popular. He was the class president, and I was the sergeant at arms. I'm not kidding. It's my cousin Michelle. This is at my Aunt Millie and Uncle Clarence's house. Must be the 80s, 1982. I know you guys are loving this. This is my sister and my brother-in-law. This might be their wedding. There's that same Moreau painting, I think. 1983. All right. Things are getting close. It's getting close to when I leave. So I'm almost ready to leave and join the Army at this point. This is Christmas. It's me right there on the left. And my sister Nancy right there. Sitting on the fireplace at my cousin's house. Christmas. Here is, look at my sister's apartment. So this is at Nancy's apartment, and see what happens when you're unimaginative and boring. You know, one thing that you'll learn about my channel is that there are people that are in my family that do watch this channel, and they don't. Maybe by now they've all unsubscribed, except for my kids. And a lot of these videos like this is here for, in a way, is like reference or history for my kids. Because I find myself, look, we're already at 20 minutes almost, and I find myself telling stories and saying things that I might not say to anyone at any time. So it makes it can be cool. Anyway, this is my sister Nancy's apartment, the one who I told you is always tan, and this is me. These are my other two siblings, and there was a thing that happened here, in this family with the siblings. The oldest and the youngest, Nancy and myself, we resembled each other, and then the two middle children also resembled each other as well. It's hard to say, but yeah. So do you see it? So Nancy and I have got completely different skin tones than Nora and John. We look like we're Italian and Portuguese, and they look like I don't know. They're Italian and Portuguese as well, but something lighter skinned. I don't know. So once again, this is right before I'm joining the army. This is like months before I join the army at this point. I really look like my youngest son right here, I think, in these pictures. This is a family reunion, and there's Nancy right here eating. This is my cousin Juanita. You're gonna just love to hear the names in my family because, I mean, you would never know, but it wasn't until about 1978 or 76 maybe, or right around there, that we became white. All of a sudden, in the mid 70s, something happened, and people who were Portuguese and people who were Italian all of a sudden became white like everyone else. But we all have weird names. Not everybody, but there's some weird names in the family. Like this is my cousin Juanita. Anyway, this is behind Nita is my Aunt Emily. Once again, my favorite aunt. It was a very hot day. She looks hot to me. She looks hot and tired, and she's getting up there. This is Dudu to her right, and you're like, what? Dudu. So this is my cousin Dudu. She's a relation just like Manuel, my cousin. They're like cousins that are even older than my mother, and they're part of the family that comes from San Luis Obispo. They're like related to my grandfather from the Azores. Anyway, her name is really Marie. Excuse me. Her name is really Marie, but she's been called Dudu since she was a little girl. I don't know the full story. I can't remember it. Anyway, we have a handful of special people in my family, and like I've told you, there's like over 100 cousins, and I don't know, there's a bunch of people. Anyway, she's kind of special. Like it's hard to even say how she is. She never married, never had any kids. She always lived at home with her mother, and then eventually lived with other relatives of mine, with my cousins and stuff. And she's like childlike and very kind and kind of goofy, and she would hang out with us and like play Monopoly with us and stuff. Anyway, her name is Dudu. She even went horseback. She would go, even when like the adults would be in like on an Easter or something. When on Easter Sunday after the egg hunt, I can remember this exactly happening. Easter Sunday after the egg hunt, it would be all the kids playing outside at the ranch, going horseback riding, like riding horses. And she, instead of being in the house cooking and playing cards with all of the women, the adult women, she's like a 60-year-old lady, and she would be out with us horseback riding. She would be out with us hanging out with the horses, which was like a very unusual and strange thing. This is my Aunt Millie right here, talking to another cousin from St. Louis. This is my cousin Margaret from St. Louis, and she's been in one of the stories that I've told before about the cousins in St. Louis. She's one of the cousins in St. Louis. What is this kid's name? This is one of the Dunyan kids. This is Aaron. Yeah, so this is Aaron. Family friends from Pebble Beach. Just some friends from Pebble Beach. See, my mother would just like sending me pictures of all the babies and stuff, I guess is what this is. This is my cousin Jay and his wife Veronica, and that's their baby. That's their daughter Haley. And this is Joni, my cousin's wife. She's ex-wife now. That's why it took me a second to remember her name. Family reunion pictures. Look at all these people. Seated over here is my Aunt Millie. I don't know who this woman is. I just don't know who she is. I've told you the family's huge. Sometimes there's people who I don't know who they are. This is my cousin Juanita. This is my Aunt Kay. This is my Aunt Catherine. My Aunt Kay, she used to drive a Gran Torino. It's my cousin my uncle Clarence from behind, and he looks like he's telling something, and everybody's listening to Clarence. Family reunion 83. I don't know who those. I didn't recognize any of those other people from behind. Okay. This lady on the left is married to my cousin Alvin. And boy, what a great story. I can't remember her name, though. She's really tall, and Alvin's not tall. I don't know who this redheaded girl is. She's a cousin of mine. I don't know her name. This is my cousin Michelle. I always liked her. She's a couple years older than me. I don't know who this is. Another cousin of mine. This is Alvin, who I just told you about. He's a Korean war vet, and he was an infantryman in Korea, and then he became a really good painter. And his mother is my Aunt Madge, who was a very talented painter, who I've talked about before in an earlier video. My Aunt Millie, and I don't know who these people are. This is a Betancourt right here. I don't know who it is, though. Jeez, there's so much here. Look at this. So this is Michelle and Brad on the far right. My cousin Brad, his wife Michelle. This is my cousin Jack. He's Brad's dad. It's my cousin Jay. He's the stepson of Jack. It's my cousin Cynthia. She's Jack's stepdaughter. This is my sister Nancy. And in the background is my ex-brother-in-law Vince, Nancy's first husband right there. He didn't last long. He was only around for a couple years. Here's like a picture showing the awe and scope of the family reunion. Here's a picture at my sister's apartment on the outside. Me with my eyes closed. We must be sitting directly in the sun. Nancy with her eyes closed. This is my cousin Phil's son, Matthew. That's Matt right there. My brother, my brother-in-law, my mom, my other sister, yada, yada, yada. Here's my cousin Phil and Matthew. This is my cousin Phil from that picture at the very beginning, playing with the racetrack. Remember that? My cousin that I looked up to that played football and was into photography. This is a picture of us playing Trivial Pursuit, and gosh, this is right before I'm joining the Army. So this is like, this is Pebble Beach. This is right before I'm joining the Army. I already got my hair cut short. I'm already running 2 miles a day to get in shape. That's my cousin Kelly sitting next to me, and he's now a sheriff, or maybe he's retired. He's like a year or two older than me anyway. It's kind of weird thinking about it. Anyway, we're like 18 right here. And he went on to become a sheriff and very successful in law enforcement. His brother did too. This is my cousin Sabina, the White Tornado. She's a little bit older in this picture. She's sitting across from us. This is my cousin Kathy. She's the mother of Kelly and Sabina. This is my sister Nora and my sister Marcia. I can at least recognize them from behind. And Kelly and I are like trying to ask a question or something. This is at the beginning when Trivial Pursuit was kind of new, right? This is my sister Nancy. This is also Pebble Beach, right before I'm joining the Army. This is Nora. Also same time period. And again, same time period. So this is me and my two cousins. So this is me on the far left in the heavy metal t-shirt. So this is just getting ready to go to basic training. This is my cousin Sean, who's in the center right there. He also became a police officer, and he was with Oakland SWAT for years and years, and ended up in the brass of the Oakland PD, and then now he's retired. He retired a number of years ago. But at this time, he was already in the Army, and so he was in the 82nd Airborne Division, and he was one of the people, he's one of the reasons I learned about the 82nd when I got interested in joining the Army. And so I was like, oh, I might try and figure out and do what Sean is already doing. So he was like gave me part of the idea for becoming a paratrooper. Then this is my cousin Kelly, the one who became a sheriff. And these two, believe it or not, are brothers. They look not much alike, but they are brothers. Yeah. Everybody here is Portuguese. Look at that heavy metal shirt. I believe that I sent away for that from the ad from the back of Heavy Metal. You had to like mail it away in the army. Look at how big my head looks. Does my head look larger than my body to you guys? Is it perspective? What is it? Also, why are my legs so short? Everybody here is the same age. Kelly is 1 year older than us. Sean and I are the exact same age. There's two 18-year-olds and a 19-year-old in this picture. And look at my legs. Jesus. So luckily, both my sons are like these guys. Both my sons are like 6 feet, a little bit over 6 feet. I mean, Kelly is like 6'4" or something, 6'5". What the fuck? So yeah, it's like a genealogy, like a crapshoot in this family. Apparently, you don't know which part of the of the whatever it's called, the gene line, or how deep in the gene pool you're going to dive and you're going to submerge. You know, apparently I'm not going very deep, not in comparison to these guys. Oh, and this is my sister's wedding. I'll look at that. That's it, man. That's it. Oh, we didn't look at these. We missed 2 more. We have 2 left to look at. Excuse me, I think I just burped on camera. Thank God, it's almost over. It's been a whole half hour. Whoever watched this, you've got to be one of my kids. My daughter-in-law. Hi, Nicole. I love you. No one else is watching this. So this is also same exact time. I'm like 18, getting ready to join the Army, and I'm wearing a tucked-in Moosehead beer t-shirt. And those are my sisters. And then this is also right before joining the Army. This is the Carmel Beach Sandcastle contest. And this wasn't my idea, although it kind of turned out kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, it was Steve's idea. So anyway, we used to do this sandcastle contest every year. And this particular year, my friend Steve really wanted to do a blueberry waffle. He had this idea in his head. And so me and my group of friends from high school, this is high school. Yeah, see, look, Carmel Beach, 1984. So this is, my senior year of high school, right before I'm joining the Army. I joined the Army in 1984. And Steve had this whole idea of how he was going to make this blueberry waffle. And he wanted to make a plate and a fork. And he cut pieces of wood to make forms so that we could make those walls of the piece of waffle. And then he had this idea about using a sheet and some blue balloons to represent the blueberries and cream, but I don't think we needed more sheets and more balloons, clearly. But I mean, people made like dragons, there was mermaids, like every year there's like